I've met Prime Minister Modi a couple of months ago in New Delhi, and I had a deep impression after our meeting. Very happy to greet him. He is very much welcome in the United Nations, and he's one of the highly respected leaders of the world coming here. I've met Prime Minister Modi a couple of months ago in New Delhi, and I had a deep impression after our meeting. A person with vision, a person with strategic thinking, person who has a very deep tradition, bringing with himself a very deep tradition of a nation, and a clear vision where the modern India should look like. And I'm very happy to greet him. He is very much welcome in the United Nations, and he's one of the highly respected leaders of the world coming here in a short period of time.
G20 is going on, sir. India is hosting it, and the presidency is with India. What are your expectations? How do you make of it, and what would be your message?
First and foremost, I would like to congratulate your government. It's a huge task. G20 is trying to address this most complex crisis. It is a very, very difficult issue, particularly that now we are talking about not only a financial saving the world, but we are talking about climate, we are talking about water, we are talking about social stability, we are talking about disaster risk reduction, we are talking about social security. So it is the biggest task you can have. But I see that the G20 presidency India is sailing well, and I remember my meeting with the Indian G20 Sherpa, and it was one of the most inspiring discussions I had in the last couple of months. India is not alone. The Security Council, what we have today, has been inherited from decades and decades ago, reflecting a different world with different big powers, different balance of power, and at that time India was still not among the biggest ones. The future, of course, will be very different from the past, and in the future Security Council the whole world is expecting that collectively it could cater for peace and security. Now the Security Council, as it seems today, is blocked. Let's just look at the war against Ukraine. Since the very beginning of the war in Ukraine, the Security Council was not in the position to take any resolution in the last almost 1.5 years. So there is a notion among the member states that we need a better representative Security Council, including those countries who have a larger responsibility for peace, larger responsibility for making well-being for the people, and of course India among those who believe they can contribute to the well-being of the world. The case of the reform has been going on in the negotiating process for 13 years, way too long. The first discussion that started on the potential necessity of reforming the Security Council started more than 40 years ago. So it's really high time, but it's in the hands of the member states. If the member states can agree on how to reform the Security Council, in terms of its working methods, in terms of membership, in terms of permanent members, in terms of right of veto, in terms of what should be the better relationship between the Security Council and maybe other bodies of the United Nations. So it's all in the hands of the member states. But India is one of the perhaps most active advocates for the early reform of the Security Council.